Do we have the report? I mean,
Yes, I have the quarterly, all the
can
quarterly
I
report.
please see it?
I believe it was part of the package as well.
Which,
For what period?
I have all them, for all the periods that they requested. It's all here.
That who requested?
The councilman. I have for the last 2 quarters, the last 2 quarterly report, I have it in possession, in my possession.
What about the ones prior to that?
We have all of those up in my office. They do submit all their quarterly reports to me.
Okay. Now, we have to approach this with a lot of caution because of the probability or possibility of this being litigated. And for those of you in the audience who may not know, and it's very important, also, of course, Mr. Chandler tried his best to elaborate very eloquently on the meaning of the LPO, how it came about, and so forth. And I want the audience to, what I want you to take away tonight is that the contract with the LPO is not with the city of North Miami. It is a lease that was redacted by our city attorneys as well as outside counsel, I guess, and between Olida Partners and the city of North Miami for 99 years. And in that lease, there was a clause, number 35, and with a lot of subsections, where the city actually obliged the tenant, which is Olida Partners, to have an LPO as part of the project. And the LPO is there to assure that there is minority, well, local participation to a certain percentage. Am I correct? And that they would be responsible to for training, recruiting, and any other activities that would ensure that there is local participation in the project for years to come. But once the tenant has the sole authority to choose the consultant that they wish, based on their needs and so forth. So the city has no say into which consultant they choose for that project. Am I correct? But one item, I believe it's 35.2.1, where it states that the tenant, being Olida Partners, has the obligation to consult or solicit ideas from time to time from the Community Redevelopment Agency, being the CRA. And has that been done? I don't know.
No.
Whether there has been any contact or any meeting between Olida Partners and our CRA department before those major decisions were made.
Again,
That's the only question that I am asking.
this is prior to me taking over the CRA, but since both Mr. Sori and I, we have only been approached once by Mr. Tillman, but actually incorporating this into the LPO, no, it has not been done.
Okay, what about the decision to terminate the consultant,
They did-
who is now the former consultant?
All right, they did send me the notices of default. I received 2 notices of default and the termination, the subsequent notice of termination.
What were the defaults?
They're not meeting the obligation under the original lease agreement, under the LPO agreement.
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, so there's no vote regarding tab N. Tab O and P was removed from the agenda. Tab Q. Discussion regarding lease of the city's parking. Oh, while I have you, Mr. Bieneme, before we move on to tab Q, I have to record 3 votes. Tab K, how do you vote on tab K, Mr. Bieneme? Item had passed 4-0. We just need your vote.
Yes.
Councilman
For the
Bieneme,
CDBG, yes.
Councilman voted yes on tab K. Item passed 5-0. Councilman Bieneme, how do you vote on tab L? Item passed 4-0.
Second reading, yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Councilman Benjamin had voted yes on tab L. Item passes 5-0. And last vote, tab M.
Yes.
Councilman Benjamin has voted yes on tab M. Item passes 5-0. Now tab Q, discussion regarding lease of the city's parking lot located along Northeast 18th Avenue from 144th Street to 146th Street to Audi dealership for a period of 20 months during its construction.
I believe the consultant has a brief presentation.
On behalf, Evan Ross, on behalf of Group One Automotive, Public Communicators Group, and David Sachs joining me from the law firm of Pathman Lewis, also on behalf of Group One Automotive. First of all, we want to talk about how excited Group One is to be coming into the city of North Miami. As you may know, they recently acquired what is now known as Prestige Audi and are building a new facility just north of the current North Miami Lexus dealership that will be quite impressive and will employ more than 100 people. And they're really excited about coming into North Miami. They're excited about the changes that they're seeing in this city, and I know they're excited about getting involved in things like MoCA and other city activities. As far as this lease agreement, we came to speak to the administration needing a location to store new cars as well as a temporary car wash site while the dealership is being constructed. The present site where new cars are stored is where the dealership is being constructed. We had looked into private property, but the manager explained to us that the city had a property and that it could be mutually beneficial for us to lease that property. Having looked at it, it is an excellent property for us. It's in great proximity to the dealership and it's already paved. And we proceeded to negotiate some terms with the city manager, which I'll outline. The lease would be a 20-month minimum at a rate of $7,500 a month. So over 20 months, that translates to $150,000. The lease would cap at no more than 48 months. It would go to a month-to-month following that 20 months at Group One's discretion. We'll also be making a number of improvements to the site, including restriping the entire site. We're only going to be utilizing a 1.25 acre portion in the middle. The ends will be left for the current use of the site, which is parking for area businesses. But our restriping will actually allow for more parking to be done on that site. In addition to restriping, we'll be adding security cameras, lighting, fencing, pumping the drains on the site, both when we take it and just before we give it back to the city. And also, because of the temporary car wash that will be built, we'll be adding oil and grease separators as required by DERM. The ingress and egress for our use of the site will only be on 18th Avenue, so we won't be using the smaller side streets. We'll also be building an entrance there through the wall. And that pretty much sums it up. I also want to take a moment and thank Aleem, Whistler, Tanya, and Nixon, who were all very helpful in getting through this process. And again, Group One is really excited to be coming into the city of North Miami, and really excited to have the opportunity to enter into this lease if it's approved tonight, which seems to be mutually beneficial for them as well as the city.
You said it would go to a month-to-month at your discretion, at your company's discretion?
Correct.
Again,
Can you explain that to me? I mean,
We're going to be breaking ground as soon as we possibly can on the new dealership facility. The primary purpose for leasing this site is for new car storage as well as a temporary car wash. We need the site to be able to store new vehicles while we're doing construction, because the site where we currently store them is where the new dealership is being constructed. As you well know, construction can hit all sorts of delays, whether they're procedural delays, natural disasters and things, and we want to make sure in particular that if we see any of those delays that we won't have the lease expire before we have the dealership fully built.
just one note to make.
so if you would foresee those kind of delays, you would come to us and ask us for a possible
Extension.
extension of that contract.
Well, in order to be secure, especially given the improvements that are being made to the site, we wouldn't want to be in a position where the dealership isn't complete and our lease is expiring already, which is where that month-to-month comes in. It gives us some flexibility, and it allows for the city to continue to collect $7,500 a month on a property that is presently earning the city nothing and hasn't.
Well, I think we would be civil enough, for a company doing business, in our city, bringing tax, not only the lease, but bringing tax dollars. We wouldn't just kick you out, just because the lease is up. But we wouldn't leave it at your discretion either. Let's say you decide to keep delaying your own project for 6 months, 9 months, and then we have better opportunities coming up, and yet you are not, respecting the actual contract. But like I said, we would not, be adversarial to that level where we would kick out such a big company out of the city of North Miami, where you would have the opportunity to go to a neighboring city. But to put it to your discretion to decide whether you want to move out or stay after the lease is up, I don't think it's a...
Right, and just one thing to correct on Arculita layout is, these are just broad parameters of the lease. The lease has not been negotiated. All we are looking for today is approval. The city, the city attorney and myself, as I said, we don't want to distract any sort of economic development. The developer came to us, they have requested that they are going to be constructing on the site next to the motor pool. And if we could assist, we have the parking lot, it's already a parking lot. So basically what we are doing is using the parking lot for storage of vehicles. We are going to have to still work out some of the parameters of the lease agreement. And, while the council is on hiatus, but I think it's a win-win because we are supplying, we are paying good neighbors with the potential developer.
Mr. Mayor, I was going to add that if that is a concern, the lease could stipulate an option to renew in the event.
Yeah.
So it's a point of negotiating.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Can I make a motion to move with amending that we, with the city attorney draft the language where
You
as,
still have to listen to the people.
oh, I'm sorry, I thought he was last. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Public hearing is now open. No? You have to open it.
All I want is approval.
Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125th Street in Sunkist Grove. I just have a question. Is the market, the rental rate being offered $77,500 market rate for that area?
Actually, yeah, right now we have to get the market rates on the area, but this is what was proposed. That's what I said. The broad parameters of the lease is not laid out as yet. We have the area. All we are looking for is the approval from the city council in order to start the negotiations to close the lease agreement.
Well, I would like to see the city investigate what is the appropriate rental rate and to ask for the market rate or a little higher. Thank
Correct.
you.
Okay. That will be adjusting the lease.
It sounds to me, as a former attorney, like it's very, very clear. The city comes out ahead, and these people continue to do what they're supposed to do and build their own operation. I think the council should vote in favor of it.
Okay, public hearing is now closed. Members of the council?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I wanted to clarify for the council, the improvements that we're making to the site, the fencing, the restriping, the additional lighting, are all things that the city will have the opportunity to keep beyond our lease. They're not coming with us. In addition to that, this is structured as a triple net lease. Once the city leases the property, it's subject to property taxes, unlike it is now. Those property taxes are incurred by us under this lease.
Okay.
So there's some additional benefits to to it beyond just the $7,500 monthly and the $150,000 minimum.
Yeah, there will be sales tax on it.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move approval.
Second.
Clerk?
We negotiate it.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, this is a motion
To approve
to
as is.
authorize the city manager and the city attorney. Sorry,
To approve the item.
To come back to us with a lease
Yeah.
fleshed out for us to consider. This is just giving them
Authorization.
Councilman-
authorization to go ahead and have those
No.
discussions officially.
Can we clarify something there? It's important that this lease be able to be executed quickly. It can't wait for the next council meeting, given your recess, because it will delay construction of the new dealership. The intent of the item tonight was to be able to give your city attorney and your city manager the ability to execute a lease based on the parameters that are laid out.
What is the, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, may I ask a question?
Go ahead.
What is the length of the lease?
The length is a minimum of 20 months, extendable on a month-to-month basis, up to no more than a total of 48 months.
I'll restate it if the council's okay with it, that we give the administration the authority, since they have that authority anyway, for the most part in our absence on recess, to negotiate said lease. Obviously, a lot of us will probably be around anyway, so feel
Correct.
free to bounce terms and conditions off of us.
Correct.
We could also bring it back for ratification.
No, you don't need to
But,
bring it back,
right.
because
We
it's,
won't have
it's,
the
it's an
time.
empty
But-
lot
Yeah.
that's doing nothing right now. That means 7,500 a month,
And
and I
That's the
think the
reason
city
why I'm
manager and the city
suggesting-
attorney,
correct.
you're gonna look for the best interest of the city.
that's what I'm
That's
trying
why
to,
you're getting paid for.
yeah.
And
Okay.
This is everything.
a motion to approve it, and I second it.
Okay, so the motion to approve made by Councilman Galvin to approve, to give the city manager and city attorney to enter into an agreement with the parameters to be based on these broad terms, and I'm gonna read, and this motion was made by Councilman Galvin, and it was seconded by Councilman Biedemann, and these are the broad terms that the agreement will be centered on. The agreement would be for a minimum of $150,000, which is $7,500 a month for 20 months. The 20
No,
months.
no, as the,
No,
as,
as
let
the,
me read
the way it is.
Yeah, that's right.
no, not the way it
Well,
is.
what's
Hold on one
Okay,
second,
go ahead, go
hold on. Is it Ashton or Alston? Alston. Miss Alston said it very clearly. For us to actually go out there and find out what is the current market rate, for that lease.
Okay.
So the 750 is
Okay,
is just a proposal.
okay.
That's what I'm saying. This is the broad parameters. You guys want me to read the broad parameters and then they'll read that into the record?
They will, yeah.
Okay, so the broad parameters are there: $7,500 a month for 20 months at a minimum of $150,000, a minimum of 20 months, a maximum of 48 months, and this is regarding the lease agreement. And it's for a new car storage and a temporary car wash, with the improvements that are to be made, which is, and I'm going to just read this into the record: restripping whole lot to allow for more parking, security cameras, lighting, fencing, pumping, drains before and after, adding oil and grease separators as required by Durham. The ingress and egress will be on 18th Avenue, loading and unloading on 18th Avenue, and the individuals will be responsible for the property taxes and the sale taxes
And all environmental permits.
and all environmental permits. And that motion, and we keep the improvements. And as stated on the record, that motion was made by Councilman Galvin, seconded by Councilman Biedemann. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item Q with the amendments as read on the record has been approved 5-0.
Thank you,
Yes.
and we look forward to
Yes.
Group 1 coming in and being a great community citizen here in North Miami.
Discussion, thank you. Discussion and approval of proposed date for first budget hearing of Thursday, September 10, 2015, and second budget hearing of Thursday, September 24th, 2015, respectively, and set tentative millage rate. That is tab S.
Short presentation by our award-winning budget department.
Do you really need a presentation to set dates? If so, I'd move that we approve the dates of September 10th.
I think the only thing that we need to read into the record is the millage rate that you guys are setting for us to do the proposed budget, the tentative budget.
How do we?
The millage rate must be read into the record.
How can we set it now? Set the millage rate now.
We are just setting the tentative millage rate. There needs to be a
Tentative.
rate that goes on everybody's property tax notice that goes out in the mail on August 4th.
Mhm.
We will be setting the tentative millage rate at this point on what it will be. Staff has recommended that the current millage rate of 7.9336 be set as the tentative millage rate. This tax rate can be, once we do set it, the tax rate cannot be raised after this meeting, but the tax rate can be lowered.
It can go down.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Normally, we do set it at the millage rate that we currently have, but once we do go over the budget and then balance the books, we determine, and you will bring it back to the council, and you guys can make the determination if you'd like to lower the rate at that time.
You need me to read the resolution into the record? Okay.
I think Scott.
It's already, the motion was
done.
made, you were seconded.
Okay. Motion was made by Councilman Galvin to approve tab S as is. It was seconded by Mayor Joseph to approve tab S as is. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0. Tab T, discussion and consideration to reschedule the regular council meeting of Tuesday, September 22nd, 2015, to Monday, September 21st, 2015, as a special meeting due to Yom Kippur holiday, which commence at sundown.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Approve second. Hmm? Nah.
So your next council meeting on that date
So-
will be the Monday.
Okay, so the motion was made to approve tab T, was made by Councilwoman Keys to approve as is. It was seconded by Councilman Desume to approve as is. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0. We have one more item, that's a voting matter, the good old board's appointments. Okay, so this is gonna be real fast and quick. Scott Galvin would like to make the following appointments to the following board. On the advisory committee on the disabled, he will reappoint Cherry L. Doctor. On the on the business development board, Scott Galvin would like to reappoint Adriana Savano to the Biscayne Boulevard portion, Blanco Cabo to the Biscayne Boulevard portion, Donald Dressley to the Northwest 7th Avenue portion, and Max Sturman to the Northwest 7th Avenue portion. Scott Galvin would like to reappoint Kenny Each to the Charter Board. Scott
Charter
Galvin
Board.
would like to reappoint Community Cherry L. Doctor to the Community Relations Board.
Okay.
Scott Galvin would like to reappoint Mr. Kim Marks, CPA, to the Health Facilities Authority Committee. Councilman Galvin would like to reappoint Dr. Alan Smith to the Library Board. Councilman Galvin would like to reappoint Dr. James B. Tracton to the Nuisance Abatement Board. Galvin would like to reappoint Eduardo A. Moliner and Karen D. Leon to the Parks and Recreation Commission Board. Councilman Galvin would like to reappoint, which is important, oh yeah, you already did that. You already appointed Jason James to the Planning Commission. Councilman Galvin would like to reappoint Jill Brothers to the Senior Citizens Advisory Board. Councilman Galvin would like to appoint at-large Bonnie Schwarzbaum to the University Relations Board, Douglas Highmarsh, Susan Blumen, and Marie Philogene, all 4 appointments at large on the University Relations Board. And he would like to appoint to the Youth Opportunity Board, Heather Holliday, Marna Pavelak, and at-large Maxine Haber. Those are all the appointments made by Councilman Galvin. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made by Councilwoman Keys to approve, seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Board was approved 5-0. Councilwoman Keys would like to reappoint Douglas Highmarsh to the Advisory Committee on the Disabled. You already made your appointments on the Board of Adjustment last time. You're set. Councilwoman Keys would like to reappoint Marna Pavelak to the Disaster Preparedness Committee. The North Miami Chambers of Commerce reappointed Councilwoman Keys to the Floodplain Management Planning Committee. Councilwoman Keys would like to reappoint James B. Tracton to the Health Facilities Authority Board. Councilwoman Keys would like to reappoint Inez Couch to the Library Board. Councilwoman Keys would like to reappoint Kenny Each to the Nuisance Abatement Board. Councilwoman Keys would like to reappoint James E. Nevis and Nancy K. Bloom to the Parks and Recreation Commission. Councilwoman Keys would like to reappoint Bob Schoen. I'm sorry, you already made the, that appointment to the Planning Commission. That's already taken care of. Councilwoman Keys would like to reappoint Sandra Dialy Cum to the Senior Citizens Advisory Board. Councilwoman Keys would like to reappoint Sol Yare Jahelo to the Quality Education Board. Councilwoman Keys would like to reappoint Lucas Baker and Michael Holliday to the Youth Opportunity Board. And those are the appointments made by Councilwoman Keys. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Motion was made by Councilman Desume, seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I think I have one more list coming from the mayor. That's fine. The mayor would like to appoint Rodney Deza Ramin. I know I killed that, I'm sorry. To the Board of Adjustment.
Rodney Deramo.
Rodney Deramo to the Board of Adjustment. For the record, if I'm not mistaken, we do have his application here. The mayor would like to appoint Hiram to the Business Development Board, the West Dixie Highway Corridor. The mayor would like, is that?
McDermott?
For which one?
Yeah, we
He
said
would
yeah.
like to reappoint Michael
That's for the charter board.
Michael McDermott to the Charter Board. Mayor Joseph would like to to appoint Mark E. Genty to the Disaster Preparedness Committee Board.
Judy.
Oh, my God.
Jeudy.
J-U-D. It's your handwriting, doctor. Sorry. I'm joking. The mayor would like to reappoint Justin Jones to the Library Board. And the mayor already made his appointments to the Planning Commission and the Board of Adjustment. May I have a motion to approve Mayor Joseph's boards?
So move.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Desume and seconded by Councilwoman Keys to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0, and that completes, right? That completes our board. So as of now, we do have, all the boards should have a quorum to proceed during the recess break. So I want to thank the mayor and council for taking care of business. Thank you, Mayor. And I guess now it's discussion.
Now we go to reports. No, you want to do that tonight? Citizens Forum is now open.
Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125th Street in Sunkist Grove. Good evening, Mayor, council members. I am very concerned about the emergencies that are arising here in our city, which have to do with having affordable housing for people with moderate and low incomes. We have suffered a lot for people who have lost their homes due to foreclosure and are displaced, and their needs have not been addressed. They're just lost and lingering. As you have such a passion for those in the Dominican Republic, I ask that you give some of that passion to our own residents and neighbors, and to our youth. We have a need for rehabilitation on our side, the west side of, as you have heard me say before, the Sasso Pool, and also some needs at the Silestain Athletic Center. Please, 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 please address the needs of our youth, our elderly, and low-income residents. Affordable housing, affordable housing, affordable housing. Those people who are, they're called the underprivileged elite. Anything that they need, they can buy. It's those who are not afford to buy, who need the help to obtain the basics of life. Food, clothing, and shelter is a basic. Thank you.
Good evening, Howard Tonkin, 12600 Griffin Boulevard. Surprised to have a tree. This one is, this is a subspecies of Miami-Dade slash pine. So this tree here represents a stand of trees that is only one grove of this tree left in the world. It's a subspecies of densa. So this tree, what you're looking at, probably has, I don't know, less than 100 of these trees growing in the wild. So this is a panther. This is what's going extinct in South Florida. And Scott Galvin, I heard that you're a bit of a tree hugger, so this is for you.
Okay, thank you.
We have any more for citizen forum?
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. Inspired by Mr. Tonkin, as always. We had a group of citizens that met recently regarding ecological issues in the city, and I hope that as we go forward, we can solve some of that demand for additional trees and vegetation in our city. One way we might be able to do that is use the power of the city to acquire vegetation at wholesale rates and to be able to pass it on to others at cost. That we might be able to use adolescents, teenagers and such that are in need of community service hours, and to create some sort of like a civilian conservation corps where our young teenagers could be called upon to go throughout our communities and to help those people who may not be, elderly and such, people are unable to do that for themselves. And in the process, they would gain that experience, a very enriching experience at that. Hopefully that can come to fruition at very little cost with very great benefit. The next issue I'd like to address is the interim city attorney. That I know there was discussion tonight that we are looking for a replacement top position, and there was discussion of having a law firm fill that void. I hope that it is not with the possibility of having a law firm take out the entire staff. We have, as we were shown tonight, a very capable legal staff. Interim City Attorney Roland Galdos is extremely experienced, extremely knowledgeable, has diplomacy skills that I could only dream of. And I hope that we do not abuse his good presence, and that we, if anything, we supplement our existing department and not in any way try to supplant it. So I look forward to, and I think he has good enough sense that I guess he probably doesn't want the position, but there's probably no one more qualified than him to serve this city. I don't know if he's that crazy though, but our best in that quest. Thank you.
Esther Blinn, 1990 Northeast 118th Road. I would ask that the council reach out and review the national programs that you were or were not members of in prior years, America in Bloom, for looking at beautifying the city, Playful City USA, to look for grant priorities, and also with respect to the community redevelopment, I really don't like the word, but there's now a new term of art for uplifting neighborhoods through grants, federal, state, and sometimes international grants it's now called crowdfunding, where you uplift neighborhoods by infusing them with educational programs beginning with children at age 2. There's one that I know of in Orlando that was privately funded. We have the Solemia group of very substantial developers who might be enlisted, and also I think you should look at the opportunities for recouping debt that are effective. And I'll say it again, because people are going to fall asleep probably, or they have grant writers. We have very capable grant writers. We need to clone them. One person or 2 people cannot do that for a city of this size and projects of the magnitude we're speaking about. Thank you.
Is there anybody else for public forum? Seeing no one, will close public forum. Time for council reports. Councilman Bieneme? Councilman DeSolme?
Yes, I do have something to report. Actually, well, 2 items, but I'll speak on one tonight. My frustration regarding the Sasso Pool situation. I am a little bit disappointed. I did speak to the city manager and Ms. Olston and the other members from District 4 who called me. I did, it was supposed to, there was a timeline that the pool was supposed to be in operation to yesterday. Now, what I'm trying to find out, the part, because I did receive an email from Mr. Coker, the part is in West Palm Beach, correct? Okay, Mr. Coker, I don't, if the timeline, so the purchase order, I'm trying to figure out in my mind where was the delay, because I don't want this to be where we haven't been doing anything on it. And I'm a little frustrated the fact that I had to send another email as far as to what's the status of it, since it was supposed to be done yesterday. But let alone, a little boy came to my door about a week ago and rang my doorbell, and I opened the door, and he said, "Mr. Alex, I want to know when the pool will be open." So at that time, I told him, having the information, it'll be open on Monday, around Monday, not knowing who he is. And I asked him, he said he's from down the street. So now I got to find him and saying to us that we have failed him. We got another 3 weeks or 2 to wait. So I'm trying to find out the timeline. And I know Ms. Hill was so frustrated with the whole situation, because we have one pool for the city. She even offered that, and I apologize for not going on Facebook as often. But if it's in West Palm Beach or in Jupiter, near West Palm Beach, the north of Palm Beach, where was the disconnect between our last meeting and it being promised and it not being delivered? Because I am pissed.
Good evening, Councilman.
Thank you.
Mayor and Council. Derek Corker, Parks and Recreation. We have CSC is the company that is producing the valve. We have one valve that was a special order valve. All of the parts had arrived on time. They have been inserted into the tot lot area, but the valve cannot function with without the filter. The valve should be here before the 17th. We have an expiration date on it. Expected date of the 17th or earlier. I spoke to the rep. His name is Troy for CSC. He assured me that it will be here Friday, if not earlier. They will be working Friday and Saturday to have the pool reopen. He said the work is possibly a day to a day and a half worth of work to be installed. So I expect for the pool to be operated by Monday the 20th. We are open on Sundays, but the part should be here this Friday. There was a lack in receiving the purchase order that we needed, and that kind of delayed the process by 10 days.
Okay, and that's a concern to me if we having a delay from just a simple purchase order to get the quality of life of these kids. I mean, by the time it's open, they're going back to work, they're going back to school. But my thing is, and I don't know how this operates, Mr. Ghani, can somebody could have went up to Palm Beach? No, what I'm saying, prior to that, couldn't somebody went up there, or someone from Parks or from your office would have seen that this is urgent? I spoke to the councilman. My frustration is no one told me anything. I had to send an email to say what is the status of the park on Monday when it was promised that it was going to be open. So I guess my frustration is a twofold, that I wasn't notified. So I do understand Councilman Galvin's frustration of not being informed when things are being asked. But the other question is that if it's in Palm Beach, I mean, my family stay in Riviera Beach, which is right 2 minutes away from the line from Jupiter. It's that important to the kids of the city that somebody go and pick up the part and we knock down the day tomorrow and bring it back. And because each day we already failed these kids a year, sir. Please see what you could do.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Where are we?
We on the park, the Cecil Pool issue. That's what we want.
Oh, so you win reports?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Win reports. Okay, who else? Who's next?
Okay, Mr. Ghani, I'd just like to ask, where are our events? Nobody is announcing our public events. This has been going on for a couple weeks now, and nobody's telling us what's going on. I was just looking at our calendar. I know that during recess, we're not going to be back till August 25th. I believe before that there are going to be 2 park workshops. I don't think I'm going to be available, but I have a lot of residents who are very interested in discussing the North Bay Shore Park. They have input. They have a lot of ideas. They want changes in our dog park, and I've told them that they should attend these workshops. One's going to be in Celestine Center. I think one's going to be at either here or Gwen Margolis. But how are they going to find out about it? It's not on the calendar. Any other events? We need to start announcing these events at the beginning of our council meeting, and they need to be posted because I want people to be aware. The Parks Commission is getting very active with the Parks Department, and we're looking for the input so people can say what it is that they want with these parks, because we put in the parks and the people have all these complaints. I want them to be responsible, so I want the dates for those 2 meetings announced, and anything else that is going on during recess. Public media would be great. I thought we were getting an app, a city app by this meeting.
Yeah, we were.
We were supposed to have one, I thought.
Yeah, we are working on having something out, but I know Sensia, who's the present PIO as well, is looking at it. We are looking at the legal ramifications from an IT and the city manager's office, and also PIO is looking into all the the social media aspect of public information.
So everybody out there, please keep your eye on the website. Let's keep our website posted and up to date of events going on while we're not in meeting. I'd like to get our events back on our agenda.
Website in Channel 77.
A lot of us don't get Channel 77. I don't. And anybody who lives outside the limits of North Miami do not get Channel 77 for North Miami. And some people can't afford cable, and just for all types of reasons, we do not all have Comcast 77. So Channel 77 is nice, but it's not, it's really not adequate. And we can't afford advertising in the Herald for all of our events, but we do need at least our website up and current. Thank you. And happy recess.
Nothing for you?
Mr. Mayor, I'll be very quick. I have to echo what the Councilman DeSume said about the pool. People need to act with some common sense and some urgency around here. When one councilman has brought it up at every meeting where he's been a member of this body, and another one brought it up in his swearing-in ceremony, that should sort of ring a bell. That is really important. We seem to lack at the staff level the ability to focus and get things like this done. Similarly with social media, again, I heard the exact same stories a year ago that we're examining the legal ramifications, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody in the world, 13-year-olds, have social media pages. We need to act with some common sense and just put them up there. Task somebody on staff who we trust with putting stuff out there and not be worried about it. If they say something naughty, we'll fire them. I mean, this just is, it's so frustrating. Just for public edification, I'm reaching out, and Aleem, you're aware of this, to Junior Achievement, the organization which I work for, which is a national, international organization, and the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, an international health organization that I sit on the board of. I'm pulling all of their social media policies,
Right.
procedures, and standards. I'll have them to you by
I
Friday
started
and
looking
Monday.
at the ones you sent already.
I mean, it's just stunning that everybody else is doing this. We had this exact same conversation just before we went on the break last July, and everybody said, oh, by November, December, we'd have it. And here we are a year later, we still don't have it, and we're still talking about, well, it's coming, but we still need to examine. Just do it already. We're lucky somebody hasn't taken City of North Miami on Facebook and started posting pictures of Donald Trump or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, we're so behind. You know, and that way we don't rely on just Channel 77 or just the newspaper. We can have all of these media outlets publicizing. So please, don't wait for us to come back in August to do something.
Okay.
That's all, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right. City Attorney report.
I don't have a report, but I rest assured that
I thought you said you guys already did.
They already went.
They already went. Attorney comes before clerk.
if I may. Rest assured that we will carry the baton until such time that this council is ready to make a decision. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Now, the elected clerk.
Thank you, Mayor.
You still?
The rotation, we have to, okay, so as you know, every 6 months we rotate the vice mayor. We're long overdue, so today I'm gonna ask for a motion to get a new vice mayor. You guys need to rotate.
I move to
it
appoint
every 6
Alex.
months. Okay, I have a motion to appoint Alex as the new vice mayor for the next 6-month rotation. Any second?
Second, but I have a question. I always thought it was very unfair that somebody would get it and then we go on recess for 2 months. Because it used to always be me. I think that was by design. But seriously,
We have a designated victim.
Yeah, I mean,
He is a,
I would second Mr. DeSolme's nomination, but is there some way we can
we'll
have that?
give him 2 additional months.
Yeah, it's effective.
We can't, because the resolution clearly states that the appointment is for a 6-month period. So just to be fair, after this 6-month period, you guys can make a mental note, reappoint him for 6 months again. And
Why don't, we can make it to be effective when we come back.
Can you make it for September? I mean, August 25th?
Why don't we keep it the way it is, and when we come back, we're gonna appoint him?
That's
well,
Or
what we can
if-
do, we can make the motion effective
September-
August 25th.
August 25th, yeah.
Okay, so the motion is made by Councilman,
By
by Mayor Smith Joseph, seconded by Councilman Godwin to appoint Alex Desume as the vice mayor for the next 6-month rotation, effective August 25th, 2015. That motion was made, it was seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse
All
me.
opposed? Item passes
How do-
5-0.
Mr. Mayor,
No, go
I'd
ahead.
like to say something. How do we go back to a rotation as opposed to an appointment?
By resolution, you can give direction to the city attorney and the city manager to put it on, because we passed it by a resolution. I think the last mayor changed it. You can just give them direction to present a resolution before the mayor and council, and you guys can go back to the
rotation.
automatic
Rotation,
rotation.
yeah.
Okay.
So you can give them that direction right now.
Well,
I think that's
what-
fair.
I would like to have you do that, but it would be up to the council. I'd like to go back to rotation as opposed to appointment. It's more fair for every council person to get, a shot at the vice mayor.
Will do. There'll be a resolution prepared for your review and consideration.
We have to give direction.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and that concludes my.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I wanted to publicly acknowledge Councilwoman Keys on my recent crusade against a particular vendor when it came to cleaning up our city. Keys came and fought that battle with me, and I must say that Waste Pro is doing a great job curing the errors that they've made. A couple of constituents talked to me about trash being left behind after they picked up the trash. Major Bates did a remarkable job with Chief Burgess and his police department contacting Waste Pro. Councilwoman Keys fought that crusade with me, and I want to, of course, publicly acknowledge her for and everyone else who supported for making sure that our city stays clean. And the mayor, again, thank you for your support. I really do appreciate it. You know, when the mayor gives the direction, they listen. And then you had the vice mayor and the mayor fighting the battle, and I want to publicly thank them both for making sure that Waste Pro is keeping our city clean. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Did you have something to say, Mr. Budget? Mr. Budget? Nothing? No?
No, I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
Stephanie?
Yes, please do. No, well,
No, go ahead.
go ahead. No, you're the boss.
Okay, as you know, getting a certified municipal clerk designation is something extremely difficult. It takes 2 to 3 years to get, and a lot of educational tests and educational courses. In about a year and a couple of months since she's been at the clerk's office, she's already met the educational requirement to have her CMC designation, certified municipal clerk designation, and that is our deputy clerk, Stephanie Thomas. We want to give her a round of applause. Now, once she completes her the membership, she's automatically getting her CMC designation. The city of North Miami, thank you for it, and congratulations on that remarkable success. Good for you. We have a real clerk now down there. Good for us.
No,
Right?
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
On a final note, I want to mention the progress being made by the MOCA director, Mr. Babacar Mbao, and he came up with a new program, actually, Know Me on My Mind. And I thought he was going to be here. I was going to have him say a few words about it, but apparently he couldn't make the meeting tonight. Know Me on My Mind is a series of interviews that he's going to do with different personalities, different movers and shakers in Miami-Dade County, where they're going to be talking about what they can bring to the progress of the city of North Miami. And the first one is going to be is it Friday or Saturday? Saturday? Right. I'm the first guest, and I don't even know which day. And it's going to be me being the interviewee. It's going to be more like an interaction type of program, and followed by a reception afterward. And also, I have a last remark to make is to welcome our new interim city attorney, Roland. I want to congratulate you, and I trust that you will do a wonderful job. You've been at it for the past, 9 or 10 years now, and I believe that we will get a very good representation legally until such decisions are made. So thank you very much for accepting to be our interim city attorney, and welcome to the hot seat. Thank you very much. Motion to adjourn?